It's another week, and that means we've got another Jermod McCoy injury update. This one coming from the head honcho up top, one Josh Heupel. Welcome to Tennessee Football Talk, everybody. My name is Joey Petersen. Before we tell you what Coach Heupel had to say, I want to run you down on Jermod's timeline, mainly from the ACL tear itself up into where we are at this current moment. So he tore it on January 15th, just doing some offseason conditioning. It was a horrible thing that happened. And of course, going into his final year in college, about to get drafted, being Tennessee's, let's just face it, probably best player coming in this year, everybody was heartbroken. Well, September 24th is when we got the first rumor that he might be back, and he might be back pretty soon. At that point in time, it was rumored he'd be returning for the Arkansas game that happened in early October. Well, just a couple days before that game, Josh Heupel shut down those rumors, said that Jermod McCoy was not going to be back for the Arkansas game. But then 2 weeks after that, Pete Nakos rumored that he was going to return after the bye, and we got the report on the same day that Jermod McCoy had returned to practice and was in pads. And that brings us to right now. Josh Heupel spoke on the SEC coaches teleconference, and he said this about the cornerback. Jermod, I've said it throughout the course of the season, and obviously a tough injury for him and for us while we were off last January before we came back and started our offseason. He's done a great job, competed really hard, and been a great teammate throughout all of the rehab process. Continues to do more on the football side of it. Don't have an expectation for this Saturday yet, but he continues to do the right things to give himself a chance here at the end of the year. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, guys, this is unbelievable news, and to me, it's quite surprising. I think after the loss to Oklahoma, I did not expect to see Jermod McCoy for the rest of this season. But to hear Josh Heupel, who all year long has pretty much just shut things down, said Jermod McCoy still got a little bit to go, to say we don't really have expectations yet for Saturday's game against New Mexico State, that's the best update that we've gotten from him all year. Now, we'll find out more specifically when the injury report comes out tonight. But from where we are right now compared to where we've been in weeks prior, it is so much better of a chance that I feel like we're going to see Jermod McCoy at least at some point before this season is over. And to me, this is such a testament to the culture that Josh Heupel has built in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, why do you say that, Joey? Well, Jermod McCoy is, at this point, almost a lock to be a day one or a day two pick in the 2026 NFL draft. And he wants to come back and play even though his team has pretty much 0% chance to make the college football playoff. He wants to come back and play for the Power T. He wants to come back and be out there on the field with his teammates, with his brothers, with his boys. And to me, that shows that Josh Heupel's built something special. Do you know how easy it would be for Jermod McCoy to look at that, look at the risk that would be involved with coming back and playing and say, you know what, guys, I think you're going to understand. I tore my ACL 10 months ago. I'm going to sit the rest of this season out. I'm going to train, rehab, go to the combine, and then come April, I'm going to be a first or second round selection. That would be so easy. I would not have any ill will toward him if he made that decision at all, except he's not. He's working to come back. There's a chance he might play in these next couple of weeks. And I also have heard some people give some pushback on me and say, Joey, he's only come back to improve his draft stock. I think you're wrong in that. 2 games, first off, is not going to do a ton to improve his draft stock. And second off, his draft stock can't even get that much more improved than it already is, even with him being out for the entirety of this year. Because if you look at Dane Brugler's big board, who is the lead NFL draft analyst for The Athletic, he has Jermod McCoy as the number 9 overall prospect. Mel Kiper has Jermod McCoy as the number 17 overall prospect. If you look at the most recent mock drafts since the NFL trade deadline, CBS Sports has him going at 7. PFF has him going at 14. USA Today has him going at 21. This guy does not have to do much to improve that draft stock. It's already as high as it's going to be, it feels like. Appreciate you guys for being here so far. I need your help, okay? I was looking into the analytics, talking to our bosses, and Seahawks today is the fastest in chat sports history to get to 10,000 subscribers. They did it in 152 days. Tennessee Football Talk right now is at 9,108 subscribers. That means we're 892 subs away from getting to 10,000 subscribers. The thing is, we're only 104 days old. That means if we can get there very, very quickly, and in the next 48 days, we will break the record. But I don't want to wait 48 days. I need to get there as quickly as possible. Hell, if we get there today, I'd be happy. If you're watching and you've never watched before and you like what you see, subscribe. It's free, and you get daily videos in return. So when I look at the remaining schedule, New Mexico State, Florida, Vanderbilt, if Jermod McCoy returns, and he does play against Florida and Vandy, I would feel very, very good about both those games. If you know me, if you've been listening to this channel for any time at all, you already know, even with the Oklahoma loss, I feel very, very good about both of those games. But if you get a guy like Jermod McCoy back in the fold, oh my goodness. With those two quarterbacks, Diego Pavia, DJ Lagway, especially with Lagway, how turnover prone he is, I feel very, very good. Having McCoy and Colton Hood back there, both together, oh my goodness. When you look at last year, I mean, there's a reason to be excited, to be hopeful that this guy's going to be back in there on the football field. 87 overall grade, coverage grade just a touch under 90, 37 tackles, 4 interceptions, 6 pass deflections. And he's a big reason, I believe, the lack of him, that Tennessee's defense has had such a poor year in 2025. Now, there's a lot of things that go into that. I think your defensive coordinator has a little bit to do with that. I think what you lost from last season and James Pierce Jr. and Omar Norman Lott have a good bit to do with that. Losing Jacoby and the transfer portal to Miami, there's a lot of things. Jermod McCoy is one of those, though. No McCoy, no Gibson. That has hurt this team greatly. And while you're not going to see Ricky Gibson for the rest of this season and probably ever again in a Tennessee Volunteers uniform, to see Jermod McCoy back would make me have a little bit more confidence in that group going up against the next two SEC opponents that you do have. Tim Banks was asked about this just this week, about having no McCoy or no Gibson. He said, it just broke my heart for those guys who won't be able to have a season that we know they're capable of having. But a setback for one is an opportunity for another. And we like the direction that Ty Redmond is heading. He's a true freshman who has played a lot of ball around here, probably more ball than any corner freshman who has, at least since I've been here. And we think the sky is the limit for him. And we discussed this just a couple of days ago, guys. And I mentioned this more when people were saying playoff or bust for this team. This roster is so young. It has more freshmen than anybody else in the SEC. Almost 50% of this roster is freshmen. 15% are sophomore. That's 64%, almost 65% that are underclassmen. When guys like Jermod McCoy or Ricky Gibson can't play, those younger guys have to step up, like a Ty Redmond, like one Tim Banks was saying, and they're getting reps that they've never gotten before. So when you think these games aren't important for the rest of this season, when you think there's nothing else to play for, guys like Ty Redmond, younger guys on this roster, Perlow, Van Dorsler, everybody out there, it's a freshman or sophomore, it's just another opportunity for them to improve, get used to playing college football, and they can take that going into their next season. Back to Jermod McCoy, though. You think he'll be back against Florida? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section down below. I don't think he'll be back for Saturday against New Mexico State, but I do believe he'll return in the Swamp. Something I think you guys need to return to if you haven't been. chatsports.com/UTQZip. I want a QZip right now myself. I wish it was this one because it's only $30. Smoky Gray, Orange Power Tea, $20 off. 3 things that should have you flocking right over there. chatsports.com/UTQZip. I put that link in the comment section and description of today's video. It's getting colder in Knoxville, and it's not going to get warmer anytime soon. We're in November, December, January, February. They are all right around the corner. You need some new layers. chatsports.com/UTQZip. That's where you can get them. So the college football playoff rankings were last night, if you joined us on our Chat Sports main channel. I was one of the hosts for that party. It was a lot of fun. And the Tennessee Volunteers are ranked at number 23 in the newest rankings, moving up 2 spots from last week. Obviously, they're kind of in a place right now with 3 losses, with not the toughest schedule, not a really massive win yet, where their college football playoff hopes are grim. But on the bright side, if you're a college football fan, if you look at the bracket right now, this seems to be a fun bracket with some fun matchups. And we all know that some crazy things can still happen throughout the rest of the course of this season. But like we've already talked about, I don't have a playoff or bust attitude. I still think the 3 games left you've got on your schedule have a ton of meaning to them. You could go into the swamp and win for the first time in 22 years. You could ruin Vanderbilt's playoff chances. And Josh Heupel shares my same sentiment. He said, I haven't paid close attention to that at all, talking about the college football playoff. At the end of the day, there's still a lot of football to be played. No matter where you're ranked, you better show up in this league every single Saturday. I've said it before, but the strength of this league from top to bottom is as good as it gets. And I could not agree more. Florida still has a lot of guys that are going to be playing on Sundays. Vanderbilt still is a top 15 team. You finish this season, you win both of those games and the bowl game, you have a 10-3 season on your hands. Now, did it go perfectly the way we wanted it to? No, it didn't. Would have loved to beat Oklahoma, had a chance at the college football playoff. Would have loved to not take Georgia in overtime and just beat them on a game-winning kick. Those things didn't happen. They're in the past. All you have is looking forward, and you still got games left to play and games left to win. Speaking of those games, which game would you rather win? Florida on the road, again, first time since 2003, or Vanderbilt ruin their playoff chances? I would love to beat the Gators on the road, but man, I would love to send Diego Pavia all the way back down 40, crying the whole way home as Vanderbilt's playoff chances get spoiled in Neyland Stadium. And I'm going to be at that game. So selfishly, I'd rather Tennessee win that one. Make sure you got me followed on social media. Joey Petersen 8 on Twitter and Instagram, at Joey_Vols on TikTok. Make sure you guys go over to those platforms and give me a follow there. And if you're not following here yet, change that right now. Subscribe. The only thing that's good in red is the subscribe button. I hate Alabama. I hate Georgia, but I love when you press that subscribe button.